linebacker
get that you
that
want
said
to
something
feel like you
about a
can have some
quarterback?
control over this, but you don't have any control over
Jay, we
Rodgers and what
can't
he
hear
does.
you, buddy.
Who, me?
No, Jay's. I see
Oh,
his mouth talking on the thing, and I can't
okay.
hear him. There
So,
we go.
no,
Do
Jay.
you guys
Sorry.
do you guys remember a certain middle linebacker that earlier this season said something about a quarterback beating him? Okay, and then that quarterback went out there and beat him.
Oh yeah, my guy Zach Brown.
Okay, so like,
never.
so like, what happens to this guy? Because Aaron Rodgers hurt him.
Never want to hold his words. Yeah, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers isn't the one I would want to piss off. He's beaten us a number of times, and he is never one to ever back down from a challenge. I'm sure he's licking his chops tomorrow. I mean, I know Josh Norman's not playing much anymore these days, but I'm sure he will have no problem dicing up this secondary. I mean, we've been playing better, but this is still Aaron Rodgers. Like, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, and you know what? I had to ask about that because I literally didn't know if there was like a tactic he was playing, or I just don't know what Bostic meant. I've always respected him as a linebacker, but the mental there, the IQ, I'm kind of questioning. Because, I mean, that's like saying, hey, okay, 3 years back, I'll say this. Like, that's like saying, oh, yeah, I want prime Brady to have the ball. I want prime Peyton Manning to have the ball instead of the running back. Like, that's just I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah, let's go to 2007 Adrian Peterson being like, yeah, let's make the Vikings run the ball. I'm like, that's not the problem that you want. I'm sure that's not what you meant.
Packers actually did that for years because they never had a QB in Minnesota besides Favre, and they had Ponder. They had the QB wide receiver combo that they tried playing.
Tavares Jackson.
God. Yeah.
Hey, they drafted Tavares Jackson with a second-round pick, and were very high on him.
They drafted Ponder first, didn't they?
They drafted him 11th overall, I believe. Or 10th overall, something like that.
Gross.
Yeah. That's my point, is you can afford to give a running back, like we've done it a couple times this year, you can afford to give a running back 100, 120 yards, a touchdown, and have them have a game, but yet the Packers would still be up by 2 scores because the passing game was outrunning the running game, ironically.
Right.
But it's just, yeah, we did that for years against Peterson, and that's the thing is Peterson now has another back he can work with. He's more fresh, and that's what makes him more dangerous with guys. But, I mean, that's what I'm getting to next. What are the strengths of each team from your site and how they impact this game?
Okay, strengths. As bad as the Redskins defense has been at times this season, they're actually really good as a pass rushing team. They actually are, I think, top 10 in the league. I think 9th. They have like 38 sacks this year, and it really starts up front with the guys in the middle.
Last week?
Yeah, 7 sacks.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure that kind of boosted the stats a little bit, but it starts right in the middle, like the guys we were talking about earlier. Yeah, no, it's still very good. I mean, they're for a defense that's up and down, their pass rush has been very good, and like it starts with Matt Ioannidis, Deron Payne, and John Allen in the middle, where most teams are great off the edge, and Redskins are decent off the edge. They get a lot of sacks up the middle just with a dominant bull rush from the guys up front. And guys like Ryan Kerrigan, who was out last week, but he's back. Montez Sweat is coming his own the past few weeks and has a few sacks to himself.
Are you feeling good about him? Are you feeling good about Sweat? Because I know a lot of Redskins fans were getting on him a couple weeks ago. I just didn't know that was still going on.
Well, you know what? Sweat, he needed some time. And I think the things that people saw in him in college was he was just a dominant athlete. So people were just like, okay, well, he just step on the field with NFL players and be dominant. But it doesn't work like that. Everybody in the NFL is good. These are highly paid professionals. So I think he needs to develop a counter move. I think that's something that he needs to add to his repertoire in order to be a consistent pass rusher. But you're seeing it now. You're seeing him just beat guys off the edge just because he has that first step that's really crazy.
He has a ton of bend for being long too.
Right. Eventually being 6'6", 280 and running a 4.4 will get you a few sacks, just like no matter what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But I think in order for him to actually be the pass rusher that everybody wants him to be, he needs to end up developing a spin move, a counter move, a swim move. I watched a guy in your division, a guy like Daniel Hunter, a guy who has like every move in the book. He can get sacks at any position on the D line. He can have any move. Yeah, like a guy like that is something that Montez Sweat should model his game after. But back to the Redskins pass rush, a guy like Nate Orchard, a guy who was off the street 2 weeks ago and came up with 2 sacks last week and ended up making the game-winning play on the last play of the game. If they can actually get after Rodgers and try to like maybe force him to stay in the pocket, I know Rodgers likes to be mobile and get out and extend plays. If they can actually get him to the turf and force a few 3-and-outs or force a few field goals when there should be touchdowns on the board, they can actually maybe stay in this game. With the Packers.
Here's a relevant stat quickly, Paul, for that. It just came out this morning or late last night. Aaron Rodgers is number 1 for all of quarterbacks with 14 plays of 4 seconds or more, and he leads the league in like most time allowed in the pocket on a most consistent basis. Like,
yeah,
and yet
that's the double-edged sword though too. At the same time,
yes, because when he holds the ball, a lot of times he ends up getting a sack anyway.
Right. No, absolutely. But nobody's better at staying in the pocket and patting the ball and extending the play just 1 second long enough to kill you than Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't think I can remember a quarterback who does it better. He just buys just enough time in order to kill you with a deep pass down the field or a timely third down. Nobody does it better.
Well, you know what? With a chance, it's still the NFC East for the Redskins. Like and that's the thing. It's not down to the Redskins. It's just down the division. The NFC least has been downright dirty this year. And the thing is, do you think the Redskins are a little bit extra motivated now because they have a chance at possibly winning the division?
Maybe, possibly. I know that it's still possible they can win this division, and these are professionals, and I'm sure they all want to go to the playoffs. And as long as you're officially eliminated, you're still in it. I think the chances are very, very, very low.
Slates are a race to the playoffs, dude. You get a home playoff game too if you win the NFC East.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think they have to have Dallas lose out, and I think they need the Eagles to lose every game but one, and the one game they win is versus Dallas, and the rest of the win out. So it's obviously a very, very slim chance. But that being said, I do think the Redskins are playing with a little bit more fire these past couple of days. One, because the playoffs are still on the line, but two, honestly, just like the way people were talking about them earlier in the season and the way that like they were a national joke and still are to a degree, but at least they're playing with a little bit of like fire these days. Just to like
back wins, man.
Right. Just to have a little bit of fire in your belly and a little bit of pride in your jobs. I mean, they're playing well. The NFC East does stink, and at least they've got out of the basement of the division, and the Giants are now in last place. Just to have a little something to take into 2020. Some of these guys are going to be looking for jobs in a few weeks. Some of these guys need to put something on tape, and it shows. These guys are actually playing with a little bit of discipline and a little bit of fire, like I said. And whether the playoffs or not are a realistic possibility, they've been playing better and they're playing harder. And I think, just having a little bit of pride and like having a little bit of just oomph to them has actually taken them a long way these past couple weeks.
Well, you know what though? I still respect the Skins because Bill Callahan came in on the fly and he has the team winning. He's working with what he has. Yeah, Haskins hasn't had the prettiest games, but he's winning. That's what counts. That nothing better is better for a rookie player of any position to get wins. That is huge.
Right.
So it's confidence.
Exactly. And Redskins fans have been saying a lot. I want Chase Young. I want Jerry Jeudy. I want. Maybe you've heard someone say, I want Joe Burrow. So let's lose all these games. But these are professionals.
Why would just picking QB?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. I do love Joe Burrow. I think he has a bright future ahead of him, but you just drafted a quarterback. You got to see it through. If you want to pull a Arizona Cardinals and draft Kyler Murray when you just drafted Rosen, then, whatever. But I just don't think that's the best look.
I'll give the Cardinals credit on that, though. Josh Rosen has been atrocious in Miami, too. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick got the wins, not Rosen.
Right. I think that was just a a perfect storm of circumstances. And you got Cliff Kingsbury in there, somebody who wants to run a up-tempo offense with a guy like Kyler Murray. And I mean, you weren't going to say no to Kyler Murray.
Chip Kelly.
It did not work for Chip Kelly at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that up front. I saw it up close with that. It came out with gangbusters. The first few games, it was great. Then it cooled down. You know, it's the NFL. They figure you out eventually. And Chip Kelly didn't take very long to figure him out. But, yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, finally, what's the final score? Who wins, and who is your MVP?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say Packers. I'm going to say Packers 27, Redskins 16. I think this could be a game that's closer than it should be, maybe for the first 35, 40 minutes of the game. But I think, you know, when it comes late third quarter, fourth quarter, you know, too much Rodgers, too much Jones, you know, too much Packers defense, too much Lambeau, too much just everything. Just will beat a team that's not as talented as yours. And I'm going to say revenge game. Preston Smith MVP. You know, I mentioned earlier that Haskins has been sacked 18 times in 4 games. Yeah, and you've seen this season. A lot of ex-Redskins coming back to bite them in the ass. Kirk Cousins did it. Jamison Crowder did it. Trent Murphy did it. Andre Roberts did it. Let's keep the trend going with Preston Smith. I'm going to give him a couple sacks and maybe even a couple game-changing plays, forcing a few turnovers, and ice his thing late and actually give the Packers a double-digit point lead, a double-digit point win, I should say.
Jay, you want to give your prediction?
Well, I will say this.
I can't get over that mustache, man. I can't stop looking at it.
I've been staring at it the entire show. It's really fantastic. I can't lie.
I told you, man. My mustache.
I feel like you need a white van with free candy on it. Oh my god.
That is what my brother-in-law said to me, and you know what? He's just mad because he can't. Don't hate the stash, all right? I am a mustache guy because I can grow one, and it's nice. It's beautiful. It's the first time I grew one. Like, no, really, literally, I was doing the Super Troopers thing at work all day, and I was just killing people because I'd walk up to them and I'd be like, "Do you know why I pulled you over, meow?"
Oh my gosh!
Family like branch from branch.
Why in the hell do you think I'm saying meow? Do I look like a cat to you, meow?
I feel like I should call you Pedro with that mustache right there. Oh my God. He's Nacho Libre. Anyways, Jay, your prediction. No more rabbit holes.
I'm going to say 35-17.
Okay, who's your MVP?
You made Aaron Rodgers mad. Lazard. 2 tutties, 150.
Didn't you pick Lazard last week too?
No. I said Lazard would probably be the guy that you would get the next touches for, and he was.
Okay. I'm gonna go Packers 30-16. I think the Redskins are gonna surprise by moving the ball. Same thing as last week, though. I said the Giants with our guest Jerry on. I think the Redskins should be able to move the ball into Packers territory somewhat through the game, but I think they'll end up in field goals. I think there may be 1 touchdown, but I think the Packers just convert on most red zone trips and get a field goal. I think the MVP, though, God, every time I pick him, he never does anything. You know what? I think I haven't seen much from him in a little bit. Is a good thing, but I want to see. I'm picking Jair Alexander. I think he gets 2 interceptions.
That's one of my favorite players in the pack and on the Packers. Like, he honestly is one of like the premier young cornerbacks in the league, and I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow against Scary Terry. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. I'm looking forward.
Yep.
To it. Yeah.
If I could give or get anybody to do him personally a favor, somebody needs to reach out to that young man, reach out to Prime Time, and get those 2 working together. He has no, seriously. If Prime could because here's the thing, honestly, people. Now, if you have no idea really about football and corners, and you just think all you know about Deion Sanders is the Prime Time, all the highlight stuff, and you really never like paid attention